This is CBC Vancouver News.
It's been a complete, profound loss for the family and the community.
The community of Lions Bay is mourning the loss of two longtime residents after the body of a second landslide victim was recovered this weekend. Also,
what does society need? Society needs primary care.
Taking matters into their own hands, how one Vancouver Island city is tackling the ongoing family doctor shortage in BC. Plus,
I'm far from my family, and of course I have two kids waiting for me, so I miss them so much.
Christmas gifts for seafarers, why one organization is spreading holiday cheer to those working far from home. Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. We're learning more about both victims of last weekend's deadly landslide near Lions Bay. As Saurabh Sandhu reports, the mayor says the close-knit community is mourning the loss of two longtime residents.
Squamish RCMP say on Saturday around 5:30 in the evening, search and rescue crews discovered a second body under the debris flow. The mayor of the village of Lions Bay says it is the body of Barbara Enns. Her husband David's body was found day after their home was swept away by the landslide.
Yesterday, the search crews were very active, and Canada Task Force 1 was on site with their team and their K9 units. And a second body was discovered.
Barry believes the couple was in their 80s. He says they have lived in the community for about 40 or 50 years.
It's devastating for the group of friends in the community. I know that their walking group and their hiking group was out this morning and were together, and it was very emotional for the members of our community.
The landslide happened on December 14th near Lions Bay, about 25 minutes north of downtown Vancouver. Trees, mud, and other debris blocked the sea-to-sky highway for almost 24 hours that weekend. The massive debris flow knocked the elderly couple's home off its foundation before overflowing onto the highway, cutting off the road connection between Vancouver and Whistler. The slide prompted a state of local emergency for the community of Lions Bay, which the mayor says is still in place. He says various agencies from the province to Metro Vancouver are involved in cleanup efforts, and in the new year, experts will be assessing the area further to ensure the ground stability and safety of the residents and highway drivers moving forward. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Vancouver.
The city of Colwood on Vancouver Island is directly hiring family physicians under a new pilot project that could connect thousands of residents with much-needed primary care. As Michelle Gomez reports, it's one of the ways the city hopes to tackle the ongoing doctor shortage.
The Colwood Medical Clinic will be managed by the city itself, an attractive offer for doctors who typically run their own clinics, taking care of administrative and business tasks on top of patient care. And doctors at this clinic will receive benefits and pension.
So actually being able to hand that over to people who know it well and can do it well, where I can just kind of focus on healthcare delivery, is very much a stress relief for me.
Cassandra Stiller-Moldovin is the first of 8 doctors the city hopes to hire at the new clinic. She's moving to Colwood from London, Ontario.
This Colwood clinic really matched my core values as a physician and the way I wanted to practice medicine, and that really convinced me.
The city's mayor says more than half of Colwood residents don't have a family doctor. They're hoping the clinic will help connect up to 10,000 residents to a primary care provider.
We had no family doctors, and all of a sudden now we've got one that's signed the dotted line and is an employee, and we've got lots in the hopper right now.
Kobayashi says the clinic will come at no additional cost to taxpayers. While doctors will be paid as city employees, the clinic will bill the Ministry of Health for the services provided in the same way that doctors in other clinics bill the province for their time.
This is what we should all be doing as municipal leaders. You can't say, well, it's not our problem, because that's the province's. Well, the province doesn't have enough people to even try to implement something like this.
The clinic's medical director, Jesse Pawarchuk, says they've created a blueprint that other municipalities could now use.
Once it's clear that this works, I have every expectation we're going to start seeing these mushrooming all across British Columbia.
He says this new model addresses a key challenge in primary care, which is not only attracting new doctors, but keeping them.
But what does society need? Society needs primary care.
The clinic will share a space with the Pure Pharmacy located at the Colwood Commons in Royal Bay and is expected to be up and running by February. Michelle Gomez, CBC News, Vancouver.
A Nanaimo mom says her 8-year-old son is facing significant barriers to his education because of a lack of resources and adequate support at school. As Claire Palmer reports, she says it's keeping her son out of class and creating a huge financial burden on the family.
This is Luca. His mom, Andrea McDonald, says he is nonverbal, has anxiety, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, autism, and epilepsy. Luca is enrolled in a life skills program at Georgia Avenue Community School. She says her son has been struggling at school, and the school district has now put his learning on pause to come up with a plan to better accommodate his diverse needs.
I know how his behaviors are, and I know they're not easy. And I know the school's doing the best of their ability, but also the school district isn't doing to the best of their ability because they're not providing the school with the resources.
So in a statement, the Nanaimo Ladysmith School District says it works to develop individual supports for students and that time away from school may be required for those plans. The school district says while plans are being developed, supports will be provided for families to continue accessing education programming at home. But at home, McDonald says she has to pay out of pocket for that one-on-one support, which is costing her over $1,000 each week.
He's already in a program where he's not sitting in a classroom. It is a specialized program for special needs children. So it's already so specialized, and they're kicking him out essentially and not letting him go to school. So where do we turn to?
The BC Ministry of Education and Childcare says boards of education decide how best to allocate the funding within their districts for the delivery of specific services and resources for students based on the needs of their student population. In the meantime, McDonald says she wants the school district to review its inclusion policy and how it's creating barriers for students and families. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Nanaimo.
A drop-in center that provides supports for street-based sex workers says it will temporarily reduce its services. The Wish Drop-in Center Society says starting February 7th, the center will be closed for at least 2 months due to funding constraints. The organization will continue to operate its 24-hour shelter that houses 20 vulnerable residents, as well as its one-on-one support for sex workers. However, operating hours for some of its mobile outreach services will be cut back. The group says the closure is very hard to accept, as changes in service delivery will have an immediate impact on the health and safety of the people they serve. Well, if you noticed a vivid orange color in the sky tonight, Burnaby Fire says not to worry. According to the fire department, Parkland Refinery in Burnaby is burning off one of its flare stacks. A notice from the refinery on Friday says as it restarts its machinery, residents may notice increased flaring and noise. A parade of storms is set to hit BC's south coast this week. Environment Canada is forecasting strong winds and rain over Christmas and Boxing Day. The wind is expected to pick up tomorrow afternoon, intensifying overnight. The weather agency says it will impact much of the south coast and Vancouver Island, especially areas near the water, including Vancouver, Burnaby, and New Westminster. That storm is expected to end by Tuesday morning. For the north and central coast, very strong winds and heavy rain will last until early Thursday morning. Coastal areas could see flooding due to the storm surge. Today, BC ferries had some sailing delays and cancellations due to the change in weather. All right, let's take a look now at what that weather system means for the different parts of the province. Let's begin with -11 in Fort St. John tonight, and one in Kamloops with a lot of rain in both Kelowna and Kamloops. On the island, Tofino is a 7, and same with Victoria. Again, a lot of that precipitation across the map tonight. Fort St. John is going to dry up for tomorrow and a high of 2 with a mix of sun and clouds. A bit cloudier in Prince George with a high of 4 for tomorrow. A little rainier in Kelowna with a high of 4 tomorrow. 0 in Golden with some snow flurries. And in Whistler, lots of precipitation with a mix of snow flurries and a high of 5 for tomorrow. On the island, Victoria, you're going to see a little bit more rain than Tofino. And in Metro Vancouver, a mix of sun and clouds for our Monday, but heading into Christmas Eve and Christmas on Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be a little more wet than white. Christmas can be a lonely time for people who have to work through the holidays. Few workers will spend the coming days farther away from their families than those who work on ships. But as Rafferty Baker reports, there's an organization doing what it can to spread a bit of joy and gratitude for seafarers passing through Vancouver.
Imagine being part of a freighter crew this time of year. You're thousands of kilometers away from your home, your friends, your family. And making it back for Christmas isn't an option. This is where Mission to Seafarers chaplain Peter Smith comes in. His organization prepares hundreds of gift bags to bring to ship crews through the Christmas season. Over about 2 weeks, it's more than 1,500 gift bags.
Well, it's a season of giving. It's a season of thinking of those who are less fortunate. It's a season of expressing gratitude. So we try to do that, and we bring the gifts to the ships that we put together. And we bring them on the ships and we let them know, that we care about you, you matter, we're grateful, and to bring a little joy when they're away from home.
The gift bags have a few convenient items, some things that may come in handy if you're sailing to Vancouver from a warmer part of the world.
We have some candy cane, we have a toque, and this one has been made by someone. We have a razor, toothbrush.
Smith bags up the gifts and heads toward the ship. He doesn't know much about this ship or its crew. It's a bulk grain carrier with Belgian flags. At the gangway, the chaplain finds the ship's cooks. He learns the crew has been sailing up from Central America. Half of them are from the Philippines, the rest from Ukraine.
Walking on a ship is very hard, rough seas, everything you will encounter, rough seas, bad weather, everything.
And then there's the loneliness, especially around Christmas. Many crew members are thinking of their families.
Actually,
Still ahead, another public blow for Justin Trudeau as Ontario's Liberal MPs come together to call on the Prime Minister to resign. More on that story after the break. Stay with us. Justin Trudeau's leadership is facing a new challenge with reports emerging from a meeting of Ontario Liberal MPs. The meeting was large and the consensus was reportedly clear. The party cannot enter the next election with Trudeau at the helm. The CBC's Rafi Bouchakanian reports.
As a parent, you never stop worrying. I heard that Polyev voted against $10 a day childcare.
A new ad by the embattled federal Liberals focused on attacking the Conservatives.
I don't want to worry about Polyev cutting pensions or raising the retirement age again.
But Justin Trudeau nowhere to be seen. The Prime Minister also refused to answer questions about his future all week and cancelled several year-end interviews. Now Ontario MPs, the largest contingent in the Liberal Party, have come to a consensus. 51 of them holding a meeting on Saturday determining the Prime Minister must step down. Sources tell CBC News they asked Chair Michael Cotto to deliver that message to Trudeau.
I have written even before yesterday's meeting that, in my opinion, majority of the caucus thinks it's time for prime ministers to step aside.
And Liberals across the country are speaking out, some seeing their leader as a liability.
We're in an impossible situation if he stays because he will be the ballot issue. We won't be looking at Liberal programs. We won't be looking at anything else. It'll all be a question for voters. Do they want Justin Trudeau to stay prime minister? I think they've clearly come to a conclusion on that.
With Trudeau not answering questions, his ministers are left to do the talking, some pointing toward the looming threat of a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods exported to the U.S., now potentially less than a month away, as Donald Trump prepares to return to power.
What I saw was an energized prime minister who's determined to meet that moment and determined to provide the kinds of supports for Canadians that we've become known for.
Despite that support, the Liberals no longer have a partner in the House of Commons, with the NDP saying it intends to topple the government in the new year. Parliament is set to return from holiday break a week after Trump takes the oath of office. Trudeau could delay that if he seeks prorogation from the Governor-General and is granted that request, something that could allow him to shore up what support he has left or make way for a new leader should he decide not to run in the next federal election after all. Rafi Bouchakanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
Friday's Christmas market attack in Magdeburg has left Germany and the world trying to make sense of a senseless act. But after 2 days of investigation and media reports, that mystery has only deepened. The CBC's Jennifer Yoon has the latest.
In the sea of flowers and candles near the crime scene, a single question. The word in English, why? Why would somebody plow a car through a Christmas market, hitting more than 200 people and killing 5, including a 9-year-old boy? Some details are coming into focus. The suspect is a 50-year-old doctor from Saudi Arabia with a history of Islamophobic rhetoric. He's lived in Germany for almost 2 decades. German police haven't identified him, but international media are identifying him as Talib al-Abdel-Mohsen.
I thought I have to do something.
CBC News interviewed him in 2019, agreeing not to show his face. At the time, he was sharing information to help Saudi women seeking asylum abroad. One possible factor behind Friday's attack, according to a local prosecutor, the suspect's frustration with Germany's handling of refugees. His social media account is riddled with posts criticizing Islam, supporting the far right, and critical of German authorities, saying they had failed to do enough to fight what he calls the Islamification of Europe. Given all that, some counterterrorism experts ask, why would the suspect target a Christmas market?
A more reasonable or rational target would have been a mosque. We have seen attacks by Islamist extremists against markets in the past, against crowds in Barcelona, in Nice, and Berlin itself back in 2016.
Memories of that attack, claimed by ISIS, have left some in Germany to jump to conclusions about the motive. Anti-immigrant anger already percolating at the scene. Protesters calling for the deportation of non-ethnically German immigrants.
Germany's federal election is coming up in 2 months, and the far-right AfD party has been surging in popularity. There are concerns that the incident will be exploited for political points before we know more about why this happened. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Donald Trump today said the U.S. may demand the return of the Panama Canal. It was built largely by the United States. Full control was transferred to Panama in 1999. But Trump says American ships are now charged excessive rates. Speaking at a conservative political event, he raised the prospect of taking the canal back.
Was given to Panama and to the people of Panama, but it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full.
Panama's president responded by defending the passage rates and saying the Central American nation's sovereignty is non-negotiable. Here we have a live shot of Canby Street and City Hall tonight. When we return, we meet a group of young kids bringing cheer to people in need.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting those in need.
Thank you for making the season kind with CBC.
This province does incredible things on this day.
Even though our day of special programming in support of local food banks across BC is over, you can still give. To learn how you can donate, head to cbc.ca/kindbc.
Kids at a Kelowna daycare got a lesson in giving last week. They helped fill backpacks with snacks, mittens, and notes of encouragement for their local unhoused community. The child care center behind it says it's aimed at fostering empathy and awareness. Take a look.
Whoa, good job. So today we're packing some backpacks with some of the youth in our community so that they can spread it out to some of the other people in our community. It's a nice way to spread some Christmas cheer over the holidays. Yep. Whoa. So we had some hygiene items, some toques, some gloves, water, a little bit of food. Really just trying to teach kids compassion and a little bit more thinking about what other people want over the holidays. And we know that there's a lot of need out there, especially with a lot of the unhoused population. So we're also just trying to spread a little bit more love however we can right now. We really talked about kindness and taking care of other people in the community and really built the conversation from there.
I put in a toothbrush, 2 toothbrushes, a purple and a pink one.
They will, be like, not necessarily going directly up to them, but they'll ask the teachers about why they don't have a house or why they're living in a tent and things like that. And so it's a good opportunity to have those conversations early on. It's definitely been very thought-provoking and something that comes out in our circle times too. We talk a lot about it. Here we go. It's very heartwarming, and I think that when I can actually see the backpacks being delivered, it's going to be even better.
I saw you put a bunch of items in a backpack today. Was there a toque in there?
I think about this activity and what it shows kids and what it shows us as like what's actually important and how we can actually do meaningful things that are impactful with our dollars, not just frivolous spending on another plastic toy or something like that.
Does it feel nice to do things for other people?
Yeah.
So cute and so caring. That is your late news for Sunday, December 22nd. Thank you so much for spending your night with us. Wishing everyone a happy and safe holidays and Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Your next local news is on the early edition on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 5:30. Have a great night.